Hi everybody, in this video we will see 7 different tips for making minimal house music, and doesn't matter if you're a beginner or you're an experienced producer, these tips might help you make your music have more flow, have more groove, and above all more interesting. So without further ado, let's get into it.
So hi everyone, so now we're here in Ableton Live, and now we're gonna start with the 7 tips. So tip number 1. The tip number 1 is the grooves. Really think about the grooves. I know many people just don't do much with the grooves and stuff, and they just overlook it, but they are important, and let me tell you why. Let's make, for example, a drum rack. Let's make in this channel, let's make a drum rack. Let's take whatever 909, simple 909, and let's try to do it a whole thing just without thinking about the grooves, right? So I'm gonna start with my mouse, and then I will start. Let's take, for example, in the hi-hat, the open hi-hat for minimal house, which brings us later for our another tip. So so you say, let's say this, and let's take, I don't know, let's put this in a low volume, and I don't know, and then I don't know, we put some right. Let's say that's without a groove, right? Let's put to the same thing a groove. So we come to our packs. As we said, when you come to your packs, you go to core library, you go to swing and groove, you go to MPC, and then you have a bunch of here. Then you can like choose which one would you want to use. Pause. MPC 16 Funker, look like the groove that has. Double up. You see, they have different grooves. So we're gonna take, for example, we're gonna take this minus 16, this MPC 16 swing, the 70. You hear that groove? Does it sound familiar? Doesn't matter, you can take 69, 71, even 60. But it sounds a little bit different. But then 65, 70, 75, 70. So I guess 70 is like the sweet spot. So you can use many of them, different one, a little bit 70 for one, 68 for another one. It will give a nice extra something for your track. So again, no groove, with groove, no, with groove. Sounds familiar? So that's for tip number 1. Use your grooves. And extra for this tip, you can use it like, you don't have to use it in everything. You can use it like just for the hi-hats, and then for example you have your kick. Let's make a kick here quickly. This one doesn't have the groove, and it's sounding good. Nice. You see? And if you put the groove, it'll change. Nothing much. So not everything needs to have the groove. You know, maybe the bass. This groove with the bass, try it. It's good. So tip, this groove with the bass. So try this groove out. Experiment with it. Put some instruments, other not, and see what happens. That is trick number 1. Tip number 2 is just really take into account everything that has to do with the EQing. You know, I'm going to explain you why. Like, for example, let's put this little loop I made for you. A little bit too loud. See, this has no EQing. Just the instruments, and that's it. So if I put an EQ, like for example, let's solo this kick and this bass. Yeah, and as you know, like stuff under 50 hertz will not be registered good in most equipment. So the bass and everything and the kick, it's good to cut them under 50 hertz, but with some little changes. For example, let's start cutting in 50 hertz. We make a cut with our EQ8, doesn't matter. We can do it with this one, with this kind of slope, or with this kind of slope. Doesn't matter, whatever your taste is. And then just cut to 50. You see, underneath 50 is just mud. The other thing is that kicks are mono, right? So that the kick doesn't sound as mud. Just make sure to put it mono. And the same thing goes to the bass. Let's EQ our bass. We'll call this frequencies that will be mud on our mix. So let's cut it. You can do both of them. Let's do in this case this one. And I will cut it under 50. Look how tighter it sounds. Now, you will see that the kick and the bass have the same frequencies, so you will have to make commitments. Maybe you just want the bass to be above 70 hertz, so the kick can have its 50 hertz in a place and they don't compete with each other, right? In another video I'll explain you in more detail how to equalize kick and bass really good, but try to view sound like you have an empty room in space, empty room, and there is some stuff you want to put inside of this empty room. The kick and the bass, you want to put them in the middle and not go into the sides. Why? Because in the sides and the kick and the bass, low frequencies will sound like mud, and there are some equipments that will maybe present some problems. Maybe a turntable will just like jump, like with the grooves like this, the needle will jump. So yeah, there are many reasons. So please cut underneath 50 and choose if you want the kick to have this 50 hertz place from 50 to 60, or the bass. You can make it all the other way around. Let's give 50 hertz to the bass, and let's give like 60 for the kick. You see, it sounds slightly different, depends on your taste. Other thing I like to cut in the kick is the high. This is like an extra for you. I don't like that high frequencies in the kick. bit of gain back. You see the difference? So, and the other thing you have to really EQ is these chords here. Look, if you watch, if I put an EQ in these chords, it also shows, if we show it in big, it also shows a lot of frequencies underneath 100. You see that the bass and my kick are occupying here from 50 is maybe 80 or something, or maybe 100. But so I don't want my chords to be competing with my kick and my bass, right? So I will have to make some compromises, and the compromises is just really simple. Cut what you don't need, maybe underneath 120 or something. The same goes in the upper part. There are some frequencies here that maybe we will leave them for the hi-hats and all of this stuff. Whatever you don't need. Clean your stuff. Clean your sounds. That's important. So that's it for trick number 2. Okay, so for trick number 3, I would like to show you something I use for my samples. You know, this thing just made it everything better. So I will show you. Let's put an audio track, let's put a MIDI track, instruments, let's put a sampler here, and then let's go to this thing I will recommend you. I recommend you, remember in our last video I told you you just have to get a place where you can like get your samples, you know, like samples you can use. So I use Splice. You know, Splice is like this app where I have all of this data, all of this sample banks and all of these audio banks and all of this, and they are updating this like every day. So for example, let's take a random one. Or you can take whatever, a pad, or maybe if you want, I have some stuff here now, so maybe you want some vocals on your track, so you can just I don't know, just samples, and all of this you can use them in your tracks, right? You can use everything in your tracks. Textures, I have some textures here, you know, for minimal. They are really cool sometimes to use this, because I also recommend for another tip. I leave it for another tip, but it's stuff you can use to make these sounds as well. So but if you're going to just want to start to make it, use this Splice. There is everything you need, like for example also if you want jazz stuff, if you want whatever, you can just put your imagination to float, and then just you know, you just download it. You have some credits here, you pay, like for example my payment allows me 100 samples a month, so now I'm in 76. Like for example, let's download something, I don't know, the ones with this thing are already downloaded. Let's download, for example, that one. So you just plus, take a cred less, you see 75, and now you can use it. You can drag and drop it from here directly to your Ableton, like for example, so to the audio track. Let's hear how that sounds. confusion there. And what you can also do with these samples is play them as a sample. Oh. You see, you can use them as samples. So that's something I recommend. Use Splice for your samples. I mean, they have everything, as I said, and they are not paying me. I mean, I'm just new at this YouTube stuff, but I recommend it as a tip. So this was the other tip, Splice. Let's go for our fourth tip. So for our fourth tip, something I recommend you to really get into and really start to learn is VCV Rack. You know what? Because it's this modular synth stuff that you can use, and it's a plugin, and you can it's a virtual modular synth. So you can use it and you can bridge it with Ableton. Let me show you how. So you put like a MIDI track, and then you go to plugins, and then you can go to your VCV bridge, and you put it in some audio track, and then you just open your VCV rack, and there you have it. You see? And you can make many of these things. I have this granular synth here that I'm using for my minimal, and let me show you. If you want, you can take a picture and make the connections how this is, or I make a tutorial of this one. So when you download VCB Rack, this is really good. So for example, let's do something. What I have here in this rack is like, for example, I can put inside a track. You see here in this tracks you have audio from and audio to, right? So I say I will take audio to VCV bridge, right? This audio from the sample we put earlier in the other tip, and I have it in 5 and 6 in the rack. You see, oh, this is the rack, and it's coming out of 5 and 6 from the device 5 and 6 into my synthesizer, right? So if I put this to sound, and you can just play with this. have it here. Yeah. So use this gear rack. I will do tutorials and other videos. Like, use it. And use it good. So our fifth tip is, and or trick is, really don't use too much of everything. You know, for example, you have a compressor, right? You want to compress. You don't want to compress every track. You know, you just want to put a little bit of compression here, of compression there, or like if you put a parallel compression, I have it here. And I put parallel compression to my kick, into my bass, into my chords here, and then this thing as well. So you can see that everything will be on your face, because the parallel compression is just to put something on your face, basically. So if you have a whole track, just use a little bit of parallel compression. What is this thing you want to put in front? The kick? Bass? This weird thing here? Right? So it's important to know what I'm gonna put in front. So like I said in another tip, just make sure it's like an empty room, and where do you put everything? You just cannot put everything in the same spot. So if you put a lot of parallel compression, everything will be in your face. That's not the idea. And for example, other thing, the reverbs. Use reverb. It's okay. Not for your kick, not for your bass. For this pad, these chords. And you see, a little bit of reverb is okay. You can put it like that all the time, but it will like make you tired. Minimize it, like maybe something like this. And if you maybe have, let's make an example like this, is you maybe have, if you have, for example, some hi-hats. You have to excuse my cue. You have this, the groove. You have it over here. Just a little bit. So use things moderately. Not everything is to push it all to the limit. Sometimes you want to do it, but on purpose. But everything you do, just do it a little bit. And what I recommend is just to try yourself. Push it to the limit. You will see it slowly down. Then you start going down. Pull up part the cue. Okay, that's too much the other way around. Okay, so please don't use too much of anything. So and don't make these tips a religion, because you get, okay, now I can do music, I use these tips and everything will come the same. But you want to always explore, you want to always research how to do new stuff, how to use new instruments and everything, because then you will become static and your music will become every time the same. And like artists, we want to evolve, right? Well, maybe I do, but yeah, don't make anything a religion. Just try to use everything to your advantage, but always with creativity and invent stuff. Other thing that gives us to our sixth tip is take a reference track. For example, um, this let's take a reference track from Mixcult. For example, I want to reference myself with, I don't know, maybe this track, right? So listen to it well. Try to grab all the little sounds. Are they high up? Are they high pitch? Are they low pitch? Right? Are they uh, fast? Or is it slow? What BPM? Well, for example, how will the how is the kick? Is my kick sounding like that kick? Is my bass sounding like that bass? So really study your tracks, reference it with you, reference all of what you're doing, reference it to what you wanna get to. So if the chords from this guy are sounding this way, so loud, why are my chords sounding so low? So this will help you push your music to another label, to another level and label. So, and um, this takes us to our seventh tip, right? And our seventh tip is to, um, when you are hearing all the sounds in your tracks and stuff, the tracks you like, you will see that, for example, in the minimal house, many of the people do is do this, everything with a short release. Huh? Everything with a short release. And for example, let's go to our chords here again. Let me go to my synthesis. Show a short decay for the chords. And now you can show short decay, short release. That's another trick. Use it however you please in the sounds you want, but short decay, short release, chords and hi-hats, and many other stuff as well. So yeah, there are more tricks, there are more stuff I can bring you to these videos. But yeah, I just need more to make more content, so let's leave it for other videos and use these 7 tricks. Tell me how this improved your music, or if it helped you to improve your music. Have a really, really nice whatever day, morning, afternoon, and we see each other in the next video. Bye.